Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and today have a very special guest. He's well known to the community. He is an OG graybeard, just like me. He's been on the show many times before, and we had to have him back because you know what? First of all, he hasn't guested in a minute. But C Money is on vacation with the family. He should be back either next week or the following week. But I'm very proud and honored to be hanging out with Sir X-Man, my brother from another. How the heck are you? Welcome back, man.
I'm surviving this crazy world. That's all I can say, y'all. Surviving this crazy world. Boom, real quick. I know it was in India, but I want to send prayers out to the people that died in that plane crash. 205 people died in that plane crash. It doesn't matter what country you're from or what you represent. It's still a tragedy.
Yeah. That's a devastating hit. And anytime you hear about that, of course, you have to say your prayers that it did happen to somebody you know or somebody in your family. And of course, we wish those families condolences in the biggest way possible.
I didn't mean to down. I didn't mean to down the mood.
No, listen,
but,
brother, it's
still all human, man. We still all human.
Yeah, that's right. After the end of the day, we all bleed the same way, and that's the way it works. But
I bleed green.
Well, indeed, we all do. Everyone on this podcast bleeds green for sure. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you for tuning in. We got over 100 people already here. We're going to have some pretty big conversations today. Again, the show should run about 70-ish minutes, give or take. It's one of the shorter shows of the week. We're going to be getting into the pretty big Phil Spencer interview that no one is really talking about. And some of the stuff that he said during that interview, man, does paint a pretty awesome second half of 2025 and a redonkulous 2026. We're going to get into that to open up the show. Second half of the show, folks, I got to keep talking about the ROG Ally X. Why? Am I getting paid for it? Well, no, unfortunately, I am not. It is a hot conversation. I don't know if the channel is big enough that ROG and Xbox would send something so expensive to me to review. I am going to give it the old college effort, but if I don't get it for review, I, of course, will be buying it day one with many people in this chat. But I really want to, stress some of the things that came out of the play days in Los Angeles over the weekend regarding the ROG Ally. We saw a lot of video from a lot of the, our fellow content creators. And the ones that jump off the page for me is the one that was done by Danny Pena and Paris Lilly. I thought that their breakdown was awesome. I know that, there were some people, and I don't understand why he attracts the nuts. And I'm talking about Paris Lilly. For some reason, when he says something, they come for him. I don't get it. I don't know why people are always challenging this man, but I can guarantee you that some of the stuff that I read, there is absolutely no way that you would say that to this man in his face. Because like I said before, he is a big old man. And I'm sure that he would backslap the S out of a lot of people that said some of the things that they wrote, which we know that they wouldn't say in real life. But that's going to be the second half of the show. Sir X-Men, look.
Yep.
This interview that I'm talking about, of course, comes the way of the Xbox podcast. And, of course, that is a podcast that is absolutely amazing, and one of which that I very much enjoy watching on a regular basis. And, some of the things that Phil Spencer said during the podcast, were a bit shocking for some. Because, again, if you read between the lines, he was painting a really good second half of this year, which there are still 6 months left, folks. And, of course, painting what is expected to be a rampant celebration of Xbox next year. Now, of course, Rubes, as he's known, Jeff Rubenstein, is the one that hosted this one-on-one with Phil Spencer, sitting in front of a kiddie pool on some.
I know. I was waiting for him to go fishing. I know, right?
It was actually quite hilarious. But Jeff asked a lot of really good questions. Now, of course, they work together, and I'm sure that this was somewhat scripted. But I got to give a big shout out to Clobriel, as we always should, because he is a big Xbox guy. He is a monster-sized creator. And you say, well, is he a content creator? I would say yes, ladies and gentlemen, because he does create incredible pieces of conversation on Twitter. His artwork or his banners that he makes for a lot of us that we use, of course, giving him credit where credit is due, are phenomenal. And he posted something, and it really is a breakdown of where this conversation is going to go regarding the rest of 2025, Sir X-Men, and I'll peek into 2026. So, folks, I'm going to read verbatim. Again, this is thanks to Clobriel. He posted this the other day, and it's phenomenal. And it is a quote directly from, well, Phil Spencer himself. And this is what Phil had to say. I wanted to make sure that some of our franchises not being at this Xbox showcase. When you think about Fable, when you think about Gears, when you think about Forza, these franchises that have been really a part of what makes Xbox what it is today and is going to be nice for the lineup next year. I love the games that we launched so far in 2025. We have a strong finish to 2025. And then when I look into 2026 and Xbox's 25th anniversary and the franchises that we're going to launch in that year, it's going to be a really special year for Xbox. Now, Sir X-Men, let's talk about 2025. Now, this year has been, in my opinion, absolutely bombastic. It has had a ton of incredible releases, some of which have been shadow drops. Xbox Game Pass continues to deliver. Again, one of the things we'll talk about in the second half of the show is regarding the ROG Ally and Gears of War Reloaded running on it, and actually what it's running better than, thanks to someone in a content creation website. But, like, people are now starting to get their emails or their Xbox messages regarding their free upgrade to Xbox, to, of course, the Gears of War Reloaded, which is coming out on August 26th. Everyone's posting about it. I have not gotten mine as of yet, and I do have it digitally. In fact, I have it both digitally and physically, for that matter. So I'm hoping that I didn't slip through the cracks somehow, but I believe mine should be in the in my message box any day now. But 2025. If you just look at some of the things that we've seen. Now, what's interesting here is you had shadow drops like Oblivion, right? This is a game that's over a decade old, came out, and is still charting not only on Xbox, where, of course, you can play it on Xbox Game Pass for the price of free, but it is charting on PlayStation, and it's charting in the top 5 of PlayStation. This is a pretty big release. Another shadow drop, Sir X-Men, came the way of the Developer Direct, right? Where we got Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. And, of course, that game was redone in Unreal Engine 5. And on the second half of this year, we're getting Ninja Gaiden 4. I mean, what a year. So I just want to get your thoughts on your opinions of the first half of 2025, and then kind of a peek into 2026, thanks to the Xbox Game Showcase and this Phil Spencer interview.
Okay, here we go. So in the first half of the year, we pretty much had 6 to 7 games released from Xbox because they had the license. They might have shared the game, had the games in other places, but Xbox announced it. Now, in this second half, I'm not going to say short and sweet, baby. In this second half, you got another big batch of games. What, 5 to 6, maybe almost 7?
Oh, man, you know what? I'm sorry, brother. You heard me, but I don't think the people heard what I was saying. Yeah, my mic was on mute. Mother, father, sister,
heard you,
brother. Bro, I was on a totally different. Yeah, thanks, Mac. Thanks, everybody. My mic was gone. Wow.
You want me to round up what you're saying in a quick fashion so they know what's going on right now?
I cannot believe I did that. Mother,
go ahead, do your thing. I'll wait.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, of course, X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. and I just did the cardinal sin of podcasting. I did not check my mic, and I've been talking for the last 7 minutes. And I haven't been talking to anyone but myself, and that is pretty ridiculous. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut this down, and then fix it for YouTube, because all you did was see me talking to myself, which is bonkers. But that's weird, because Pragmatic Eagle said he heard everything. That's weird. Okay. Now you're saying the mic is wrong. Oh, here we go. God damn it. Okay, I got it. All right. So I wasn't on mute. What?
That hit my headphone.
What happened was I had an update with the PC, and it changed my microphone to the Brio, which is in front of me, which sounds low. And of course, now I'm talking on the Yeti X, and I'm back to whatever. All right. So listen, folks. I have to. Oh my God. This is. Let me just say this, folks. I'm sorry. I'm a bit out of sorts today. I still feel jet lagged. I know it sounds crazy, but this was a really, really bananas weekend. And again, wrong mic. Thank you guys. Appreciate everyone's understanding.
Real quick,
and here we are. We're back to normal.
We're all gamers. We've hit the restart button. Let's go.
Well, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Sir X-Men. We're going to get your thoughts and your theories of the first half of 2025 and your expectations for the second half.
Okay, let me repeat. I don't know if they heard me the first time, but I'm going to say it. So Xbox had about 7 games, not including the little indie titles that they've released in their time.
Yep.
Since the beginning of this year. So let's average it out to about maybe 10 games. I said 6 to 7, but I'm going to average it out to 10 games, including some indies and some we don't know about. If you think about what's coming the second half, plus indies, plus games that are on Game Pass that ain't anywhere else that you can play, you're talking about maybe 25 to 30 games within a year, people. Have you not had anything to play this year?
Great point of view, brother. Yeah, I agree.
You cannot say you haven't had anything to play this year. And it's like, I'm not going to throw no shade. I'm going to be nice today. But that's a good abundance of game. Whether you have Game Pass, Ultimate, or not, you still had enough games to buy that were Xbox to play this year. So it's like, I'm just saying they're bringing it to you, and I can't wait till 2026. That's about it, boom, for that part. But there's some great games this year that got me addicted, so I can't say nothing else.
Well, you know what I did? Again, I give Clobriel credit where credit is due, and this incredible graphic about what is happening for this year. And again, folks, this is just 2025. We're not. We're going to get into 2026 second half of this opening conversation, but I kind of want to just run through the games that are expected to hit. Now, these are all first-party games, and every one of these games are in Game Pass day and date. And this is how it's going to break down, folks. You opened up the year with Avowed, followed by South of Midnight, and of course, you had the Oblivion remaster. Now, of course, I say it's a remake, but they have it as remaster. Fine. Towerborn finally released. Doom: The Dark Ages. And of course, releasing soon is the second half, which you're going to get into. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Grounded 2, Gears of War Reloaded, Keeper, Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds 2, and to close out the year, Black Ops 7. And I mean, look, I'm no mathematician, folks. That's a lot of first-party games. And yes, most of those games are on other platforms. I actually think that conversation is kind of DOA. They are putting games everywhere. We do have some games that are not available on other places, like Avowed and South of Midnight for now. The Outer Worlds 2, multi-plat. Call of Duty, obviously a multi-plat. I don't know so much about Keeper by Tim Schafer's studio in Double Fine. But Gears of War, multi-plat. Grounded 2, that's going to be an interesting one. I don't know, because it's releasing into early access.
I don't think PlayStation has that. So that
They
might
don't do
actually
early access games.
yeah, so that might be a PC and Xbox only game, and that's going to be a pretty big deal because a lot of people enjoyed it. I played it for about an hour. It's just not my bag, but I'm glad other people are enjoying it.
Don't
And
forget
that
about
is
Power World coming in
Yeah.
full game form this year. No
There you
date,
go.
but
There
it's
you
coming
go.
this year.
But you know what, Sir X-Men? Let's take a focus on to second half because second half includes Tony Hawk, Grounded, Gears of War Reloaded, Keeper, Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds, and Black Ops 7. And I'm sure there's going to be some people in there that like, that's not enough games. I want more. And I know that we can be spoiled gamers, but I have to say that is a solid second half of 2025. Let's get your thoughts on that before we move into the future, which is 2026.
The second half of 2025 is redonkulous. It is just straight up unprecedented in gaming. And you're not considering all the games that the newer titles that didn't get no love out there that's been around for a while. I'm sorry, that's going to appear in Game Pass because Microsoft is good at that, giving games a second chance. So you're going to look at it and go, ooh, that's in there? Oh, I wanted to play that. Every time you see that, Boom, you're like, I wanted to play that. I was like, wow, when did they throw that in there? So it's I mean, I can't wait for it. I don't know. I think Clockwork is coming out next year. That's one of the games I want to play. They didn't give no date on High on Life 2, just like it was a surprise game that came to Xbox and nobody knew about it. So they might do the same thing with that this year. I mean, they've got secrets upon secrets, and what they say is, I'm not trying to jump the gun, but what they say is they have games that they couldn't fit into this year. So, I mean, when they go hog wild, me and Boom gonna be like, I can't get a day break. I can't get a week off without another game coming out for Xbox. What is going on? This is a gamer's dream right now.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, our backlogs are like ridiculous. I mean, our backlog has been backlogged since for the past 5 years. So it's about to get worse. They better give us 4 to 5 terabyte cards or something like that for the space we're gonna need, dude. It's ridiculous, man, and I'm loving every minute of it. If I was a younger gamer, man, I would be feeding, eating, not doing nothing. I'd be staying in the basement, not going nowhere. I'd find an online job or something like that, work for about 6 hours, and then be doing nothing but 24/7 gaming.
Yeah,
So
you're not bad. You're not wrong. Hey, check this out. Shout out to Music 72. Salute to you, kind sir. Thanks for being here as always. He says his backlog has a backlog. I love it. That's good stuff, man.
That's like that old saying, Boom, I got a backup for the backup and another backup for the other backup.
Yeah, you're not lying. Masshole 1977 says too many games, first world problems. You know what? Indeed, kind sir. You know, it's funny. I was having this conversation with a couple of old timers like me. Listen, folks, I'm going to be 55 in September, and I get it. You know, I feel I say this all the time. I really do. I hate repeating myself, but it's worth saying. I do feel so honestly privileged and honored to have experienced gaming from when it started. Because my first gaming experience is thanks to my pops, who of course is not only my hero, the greatest man I've ever known. In 78, he brought home an Atari 2600.
Yes, sir.
And I played games, and we're playing them now, which is, again, even more insane that we have this Xbox Classics thing where I could play Circus Atari, or I could play, like Frogger, or, River Raid. Where I could play those games that I played 100 years ago. And
Yar's Revenge.
Oh, God, it's just crazy. But I started playing with sticks and dots, and now games look like what's on your screen, which is just madness, just absolute madness. So I'm so honestly privileged to be still gaming after all these years. And I'm even more privileged to have you fine folks here hanging out with me today and Sir X-Men, where we're going to get into what is expected, ladies and gentlemen, to be, my God. It's funny. I got to give credit to Snap Blast Play on Twitter. That guy is just one heck of a community member, and he's an Xbox guy through and through. So you know what? And I don't have it in front of me because I don't want to take away the screen that you're watching, which of course is the showcase. But I just moving into 2026, the conversation. I want to kind of just take a glimpse at where we've been, right? Before, again, we're still in 2025, but I've been saying for a couple of years now that what we were hoping for, or what I thought Xbox actually needed, Chat and Sir X-Man, was a couple of back-to-back years of incredible gaming, right? To start this locomotive into was expected to be just where Sony was like 5 or 6 years ago. Like, you got listen, I know there's a lot of people don't hate when I say this, but I'm a guy that likes giving where credit where credit is due. And if you look back to something like 2017, 2018, 2019, even 2020, if you want to just use 3 years, let's go 2018, 2019, 2020. Right? That block of PlayStation 4 games, especially from first party, was pretty incredible. I mean, listen, I understand that a lot of people in this chat don't like those games, and I understand. I'm not going to fight you, folks, but I like those games. And of course, that block for Sony was really, really solid. Well, you know what? Xbox is having that exact thing happen now, and they've had 3 freaking years. So again, shout out to Snap Blast Play, who is one hell of a community member on X, put this graphic together where he had side by side 23, 24, and this year's the Xbox Developer Direct and Showcase. And in the 2023 campaign, you had Minecraft Legends, you had Hi-Fi Rush, you had Motorsport, and you had a big update that came to ESO, right? And of course, Redfall. Now, Redfall fell flat. I'm not gonna sit there and try to defend the game, but you know what? I enjoyed it. It did need some more cooking, but fine. But that Xbox game showcase had the Starfield Developer Direct, and that year, 2023, was pretty freaking solid. And then, of course, last year, where you had the Developer Direct open up the year, which of course had Aura History Untold. It had Avowed, Visions of Mana, which of course was a third-party part of it, Indiana Jones, and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. And of course, the showcase, last year's showcase, God Tier, right? And of course, they had the Developer Direct for Black Ops 6. So then we fast forward to 2025. And of course, we had the year that opened up with Doom the Dark Ages, South of Midnight, Expedition 33, and Ninja Gaiden 4, as well as the Shadow Drop for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. That was your opening salvo for this year. And of course, well, the showcase from last year. I mean, from last weekend. I'm sorry. And that, of course, had what we had. And again, for me, 9 out of 10, and the Outer Worlds Direct. So, I mean, look, maybe not every game in this list was for you, but we have to admit that this is one hell of an Xbox back-to-back-to-back years. And we're not even talking about how stout Xbox Game Pass has been loaded. So, Sir X-Man, I want to
add
kind
on that.
You please, but go ahead. Absolutely.
All right. For years, I've been trying to tell people Microsoft has always been a methodical and patient company. They evaluate, they crunch the numbers as far as what they can do to improve, where we need to go. And they say, you know what? It wasn't our time back then to go on the path we've envisioned. But now with the new technology, the way things are going, you got a some of it past few years back in the day where people were copying and emulating the things that Microsoft was doing. But people never really paid attention to it. They tried to put it down and everything and all that and everything. But as they progressed and started getting better and better at their craft, now we're at the point of you were sleeping on them and you kept talking about them, but everything's coming together now. And I'm not, don't freak out when I say, but the hate from other sides are just ridiculous, because I've said this before. Every 10 years in gaming, ever since Nintendo started Save the Fall, that every 10 years there's a jump in innovation in gaming. For the past 40 years, there's been an innovation of gaming. Microsoft knew that. A lot of people, other companies didn't fight. Nintendo just their own thing. We leave them alone. But every 10 years, there's a jump in generation. You're going to see another jump in probably 2030. But you have to be prepared to grow with the way gaming grows. Just like television, they've changed. Every 10 years, gaming technology changes. PC technology changes. You expect gaming to go along with it. Some people don't like it, but if everything stayed the same, it would be boring, wouldn't it, Boom?
It certainly would. Yeah.
So what Microsoft is doing, they put the plan together, everything's coming together, and just enjoy it. Enjoy the new way of gaming. Have fun with it. You can be critical on some things, but don't mock gaming innovation and enjoying the games you play. It doesn't matter if you pay for a subscription or if you buy a game outright. Just enjoy the game that's coming out, because we could be down in the down ages like what happened in the 70s, but we're still going. So embrace it. All right, I'm done on that.
No, brother, it's a freaking great point of view. Like I said, I look, ladies and gentlemen, this world is so effed up right now. Like, we have gaming, and especially if you are an Xbox gamer, and you game through your service, you don't buy a lot of games for whatever reason that may be. You don't have the money. That's why you have these services, folks. Whether you game on PC, whether you game on Xbox, whether you game on your TV through Xbox Game Pass, you're winning, folks. And it, like I said, I think that one of the biggest criticisms that I have for just, gaming media and community conversation in general is, in a time where everything is so bloody expensive, Xbox really does not get the credit that I think it deserves for having this service and allowing every financial, it doesn't matter where you fall on the totem pole, whether you have a lot of money or you don't have a lot of money, it's affordable for you. They make ways for you to be able to be part of the conversation. I don't think anyone really talks about that. I like putting that out there, because I think that just because you don't have a lot of money, that you shouldn't enjoy.
I think Nintendo, they got to him. Can you guys hear me, or did Boom freeze? All right. Well, I'll reiterate on what he's saying, and when he comes back, he can finish it up. But you froze, Boom. But what he's saying is, embrace what you play. That's all we can do. I mean, there's so much coming out that we can't even get to our backlogs, guys. And it's sad, because we have so many games. And it's like they're coming out bang after bang after bang. That's from all sides, everywhere. Bang after bang after bang. That it's like, it's not fair that we don't have no time like we used to. We're older. The newer people, they're stuck on the Fortnites and everything else. But for us guys that like playing games, other than those games, there's a lot of love for us. And we need to enjoy it, embrace it, and have fun with it. I mean, I ain't getting any younger. I'll be 60 in August, but I still game when I can. And that's the most important thing. I think they cut Boom room off. So I guess I'm hosting the show for now. But unless he sends me another link. But uh-oh. He said his internet went out and he's just booting. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look in here and see who has the most important question. Who's got some? Make it short and sweet. But no, I'm having fun. I mean, look at me. I'm playing an old game, 2021 PBA bowling. I can't put it down. I'm addicted to it. I got so many other good games that I can't stop playing this game. Me and my buddy stream it every Sunday on Twitch, fighting each other. You know, so it's like it's just cool. When Nintendo came out with, that's good. You know, I think that's a good thing for that community. You know, I think the handheld is a good thing for our community and others that want to try it, you know, and play another handheld. There's nothing wrong with having 2 handhelds or 3 handhelds. You can have the Switch. You can have the Xbox ROG Ally X. You can have a Steam, you know, the Steam device. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. If you like the environment that these games put you in, you can have a PlayStation. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. I grew up on PlayStation, and I will say it. PS1 was my favorite console of all time. I've had every PlayStation, even PS3. But my love came to Xbox because I had the online connectivity, and I had friends. I still got those friends to this day from the original Xbox. So, you know, I follow them. We play different games all the time, and we carry on. But it's like, I've been wanting to say this. I hate that the gaming people have got divided. When I grew up, me and my friends would come over to each other's house and play, or we bring our consoles to our friend's house and get down. There was no animosity. It was just all about the game. Even during the PS2 times, we would just go over and play. You know, my friend would, or on the PS1, my friend would bring his PS1 to my place, and we'll do System Link on F1 or the games that supported System Link. You know, I mean, you know, you hook the cable up to both Xboxes and you run two TVs. It was awesome, you know, and it's like the online brought us together,
Well,
but it also pulled us apart.
Unbelievable.
Sorry about that, Boom.
No, you know what? I apologize. They're working outside on the lines, and my power just went out. Well, that's just the effing day that I am having. Yeah, Big B Money says Boom got kicked out. Yeah, indeed, I did.
Well, I hope when you relook at it, I covered it decently. I was just telling
you. I'm sure you did fine. So please continue as I give us some gameplay. Oh man, what a day!
Well, I was just talking about the old days to the new days, and
no, I love it.
I got to the part where back then we all played together. We had friends. We had this and that. But when internet came and we were all talking online, that's why I went to Xbox, because they had the better internet service, because I did have broadband back in the day. You know, I didn't have the dial-up. And I was like, the thing about the online, it brought us together, but it also pulled us apart. And that was the double-edged sword of what we were, you know, what we were dealing with. I still got my old friends, but I started making more friends when we moved on to the 360. So, and remember when we moved on to the 360, Boom? It's like you couldn't keep your friends together because they were pushing out so many games. Everybody wanted to play something different. We were in the OG Xbox. We all played the same games every single time. Remember that, Boom?
Yep.
And it separated the communities, man. And I miss that about the communities sticking together. I hope eventually we get back to the point where communities stay together. And with this cross plays that are coming between Xbox, PlayStation, and maybe Switch, you know, depends. But I hope it starts pulling people back together, letting them get away from the hatred of the console and just get back to the pure love of just playing games.
That's what actually it's supposed to be. That's, I mean, again, first of all, thanks so much for taking on the role of the host. Again, apologies for the power going out, because that's just that man. That's that
it
day
happens.
we are
It's
having
life,
today, brother. My God. All right, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want to continue the conversation because there is still a lot to get into, and of course, apologies for the technical issues. We normally don't have those here, but let me just continue on with the super chats and the channel member chats and the gifted memberships. We'll get into those. And then, of course, we're going to then transition into Xbox in 2026. Because, again, I think that we're at a position right now as Xbox fans where we can wholeheartedly say, yeah, wait till next E3 or wait till next year, because we're already having a killer year. We've already had a killer 2024, and 2023 was no slouch. And you got to remember, this is coming off of a terrible 2022 where they practically had no first party games. Probably one of the worst years for Xbox in first party history. But Scott Gamer Dude drops a very generous $5 super chat. Scott goes on to say, hello, Boom, on vacation in the Midwest. Well, listen, brother, enjoy your vacation. Thanks so much for hanging out with us while you're on vacation. Just recruited my cousin to switch to Xbox when I showed him the Game Pass lineup. Bro, that's awesome. And again, word of mouth is such a big thing. Hopefully you get some free months from Xbox for bringing in family and friends. But Will, the Broke Boy Insider, drops an additional, very generous $2 super chat. And I saw that this morning. Konami has announced that they are remaking Silent Hill 1. Yes and yes. That is freaking awesome. And I think again, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine, based on the original commercial, that the Silent Hill 2 remake should be, again, I say should be, releasing for Xbox this October. We will certainly see.
Can I add a comment to what a real comment real quick to what he said real quick?
Yeah.
Look, Konami, get off your butt. You own the rights to Bloody Roar. Bring me a new Bloody Roar like you've been talking about for the past 4 years. Okay, I'm done.
No, Bloody Roar was dope. I actually imported that game originally. That was dope.
I own them all, Boom.
I owned the first and the second. I don't know if I bought any of the other ones. I probably didn't. Just either didn't play them or I just don't remember, because while I'm an old
I got
man.
the third one for either my Xbox or my Dreamcast. I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Scott Gamer Dude drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and said he's buying his cousin a Series S. Yeah, dude, that's great. I mean, the Series S is such a great console. It gets so much slander. It's unnecessary, but that's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear it. Nino Vestic, our generous friend all the way from Hawaii. Salute to you, kind sir. He has gifted 1 Double Barrel Gaming membership. That is very kind of you. We truly appreciate it. And of course, thank you for always being here and supporting the channel. Scott Gamer Dude. Okay, not only does he gift 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships, Scott, that is crazy generous of you, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity. He also adds an additional $2 super chat and another $5 super chat. Wow, brother, that is unbelievably generous of you, Scott. We do appreciate it. He says in his first $2 super chat, he cloud gamed on my laptop, and that is what got him. Yeah, I'm telling you, folks, this Play Anywhere thing is gonna hit like a ton of bricks, because the normies, who, again, just because they're casual gamers doesn't make them dumb. They're just casual gamers. There's nothing wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen.
You should have said your famous phrase, Boom. It's bonkers.
Yeah, it is bonkers. There's no doubt about that. And we have another $5 super chat. 2 more $5 super chats from Scott Gamer Dude. First one, he says, Sir X-Men made a very good point. Crossplay means more friends to play with. And I think that's cool. I really do. I mean, I have a lot of friends. Most of the friends that I have either have PC and Xbox, have PC and Switch, have PC and PlayStation. I'm always playing with my friends, right? So it's fine. But I think that, yeah, the more that things are cross-buy, cross-save, cross-progression, cross-play, the more that you can advocate for hanging out with your friends. And I think that's dope. Another $5 which says, the funny part is my cousin gave his old PS4 so he can play at least in the Sony ecosystem. Or he gave you his old PS4. I mean, listen, PS4 is, look, folks, you want to know how many people are still playing on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pros? And we know this because Sony told us this in their last financials. Now, I don't think it was this one that just passed. I think it was the prior one where they said that there were over 53% of PlayStation players still on PS4, still on PS4 Pro. That is a lot of people using old hardware. I mean, that's just the way it is. Hardware is expensive, and some people just don't move on. And when you put them onto the PlayStation 5, that's a massive jump. You put them onto the Series S, that's a pretty big jump as well. Maybe not as massive as the PS5 Pro, but it's still a really good, solid console. But Sir X-Men, you know what I want to do? I want to kind of just take this conversation and focus in on the future. Now, the future, this is going to be a two-tiered conversation.
Oh, I love
because I
this
want to
part.
talk about 2026 more specifically, and then we're going to transition into the handheld, where a couple of months ago we had heard from Paris Lilly, we had heard from Tom Warren that they said specifically this is an Xbox will make sense soon. Well, that happened during this past event, but during that Phil Spencer interview at Sir X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, not again.
Am, are you kidding me? This is crazy.
You're back. I hear your voice, but I don't see your picture moving.
Well, I should.
All right, you're moving now. You're moving now. You good. You good. Put your hands up for Xbox, everybody. That's what Boom is doing. I'm letting you know. Do what they did at the showcase. Do this.
Yes, I did the Wakanda, but I should have done this. Yeah. I want to just take a minute to focus on what Phil Spencer had to say at the showcase, during his presentation, and more specifically at this interview with Jeff Rubenstein, because he mentioned Gears, he mentioned Fable, he mentioned Forza. Now, Forza Horizon 6 is coming next year. That's one. Gears of War E-Day is coming next year. That's two. Now, there is talk, and I believe that this is pretty much locked in stone, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Master Chief and Halo. There's going to be the Halo Combat Evolved remake done in Unreal Engine 5. That's three, right? That is the holy trinity. Those are the pillars, ladies and gentlemen, that hold up Xbox. And, well, that is a big part of the celebration that's going to happen next year. But it's not just those three games plus Fable making four. Now, if Clockwork Revolution falls out of this year, like it's not a surprise shadow drop at some event that has not been announced, right? Let's just say that, midway through the second half of this year, they announce a developer direct, Clockwork Revolution, and they drop it, because they could in fact do that. Matt Booty
the day one drop next event. Yeah, that might be cool.
Could very well be. But if it's just, again, if Clockwork moves into 2026, because it did say in the trailer in due time. Okay, so there's no release year, and that could be moving into 2026. That's 5. But what about State of Decay 3? That's also 2026. That's 6.
I think that's going to be a January showcase drop. That's what I think that would be. That's what I think.
Right. So that's 6. But let's not forget about the behemoth in the room. Whatever Call of Duty is next year, which is expected to be some sort of an Infinity Ward joint. That's a total of 7 AAA bangers next year, Sir X-Men in chat.
So you're a Call of Duty person, but you know me.
No, but I'm just saying you cannot discount how big Call of Duty is. That is one of 7 massive games, and that is, of course, excluding some of the smaller games from the smaller teams, right? That's excluding stuff like, is Perfect Dark a launch title for the new console in 27, or is that would be at some point?
That would be sick, yeah, because they got the new engine already, so why not?
Let's get the chat involved in here, folks. 2026 looks to be ridiculous, like honestly, already ridiculous. And you know what's incredible about that? In this year, in 2026, or X-Men, not only we have 7 games, 7 possible launch games, which I don't even know where you put these things, but that is also in the year that they're celebrating a couple of anniversaries. You got the 25th anniversary of the platform, the 25th anniversary of Chief and Halo Combat Evolved, the
Correct.
20th anniversary of Gears of War. Let's get your thoughts on how big next year is going to be.
All right, people. Don't quote me on this, but let's pray. I hope that this. I'm just talking about it, but I think this new infrastructure that they're building for the handheld is just a prelude of the features that they're going to have in the new console that they're going to show next year. That's my thing for 2026. I want to see what this new console is, how much it costs, what's its capabilities, and what else does it do. If we're going to have Steam innovated in a new console, people, that's going to be sick. Playing your Steam games on your TV and not having to go to your PC all the time, that's going to be sick. Number 2, and I say this and people freak out, but it's true. Every Battlefield launch has been through Xbox. It's never been on PlayStation or anything else. So I hope they show us the new Battlefield that's coming. Now, for the games that are coming from Xbox next year, Phil Spencer said that we have games that we couldn't find nowhere to put in for this year or the year before. So I love that because they're giving these games time to cook. And Phil Spencer said, with what happened with Redfall, we are not going to make that mistake again. We're going to let these games cook, and when they are ready, they are ready. If you got games that are ready for 2026, they're going to, despite Grand Theft Auto, it's going to be what it's going to be. But they're going to have games to fill out all of next year. And they got games, he said, for year 2027 up to there. So if they're that full, just imagine the other games that are still cooking in 2026 from 2024 that they have in development that we haven't heard of or seen yet. And I think Fable will be a launch title for the next console. You'll be able to play it in the console you have now. But if you want the higher features for Fable and other games that they got, they're going to be launched with the new system. And I think they're going to put that out there. Now, I'm looking forward to the January showcase. Unfortunately, Microsoft's going to give Jeff Keighley something to show for next year for Xbox.
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Yeah, on his awards show. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Microsoft has, and at their showcase. So if they got what they got now, and Grand Theft Auto ain't coming out till March, so what else is going to be out there in the summer and next fall? That's the problem. So Grand Theft Auto might dominate the early part of the year, but Microsoft could theoretically take over the rest of the half of the year with what they're going to be putting out. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm going to be a happy person and that'll be my 23rd year of being on Xbox Live. Let's go.
So, it's interesting. I see somebody in the chat said something about 2026 might be too soon for the next Xbox. Now, hold on. Let me address it because I think they're onto something. We did think that it was 2026. And then, of course, we heard that both the handheld and the next console could be in 2027. So I believe that. Well, hear me out, folks. Now, what's interesting is the end of fiscal 2020, Microsoft's fiscal 2026 will run from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th of 2026, meaning that July 1st of next year starts their fiscal 2027 financials.
Correct.
Now, again, there's been some talk about it launching in the fiscal year of 27, not necessarily meaning 2027, because obviously, if fiscal 27 starts July 1st of next year, they could release that console anytime from July 1st to the end of the year. Now, is it likely? It is not. I'm expecting the new console to launch in 2027, along with what could potentially be a handheld if they decide to make it. You got to remember, Phil Spencer talked about the handheld. He said they wanted to do one. There was rumors that they were working on one. And then, of course, that kind of got sidelined. We got that story from Jez Korn of Windows Central. And now we have this ROG Ally and Xbox collaboration. And I think that if this does well for them and this partnership does blossom into something, maybe Microsoft doesn't need their own hardware if they can keep innovating with the ROG Ally. Again, I don't care where I can play my Xbox games. As long as it looks and acts like an Xbox, I am all in. But
and plays your games good.
Yep. 2026 is shaping up to be a monster-sized year. And I would imagine that in that year, we should, and again, this is just me spitballing, we could, in fact, get the Elite V3 that we've all been asking for. And supposedly, they've been cooking. That thing has been, they've been cooking with that. And I hope that it's better than that. But, obviously, we've seen a ton of innovation from 1 to what we have now in 2. And I think 3 is going to be even better. I'm very excited for that. I cannot wait for whenever that comes out, because I have a ton of Elite controllers, because it is my weapon of choice, so to speak, when it comes to playing multiplayer, especially Call of Duty.
That's your thing.
That is definitely my thing. I just hit level 80 Prestige Master, and that is a big deal for me. I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm putting these kids through their paces, and I'm having a good time doing it.
I got beat by an old guy. What's going on? No, you got beat by a gaming veteran. That's what happened.
Yeah, well, the old dogs still have some tricks left in us. You know what? But so again, folks, your thoughts, your theories on 2026. I think it could not be happening at a better time. When you look at the lineup that I went over, and again, I'll reiterate just for anyone that's just tuning in right now, you have Gears, Forza, and Halo, right? And I say Halo because it makes sense that the remake of Combat Evolved will be out next year to celebrate the 20th anniversary. That's 3. Of course, you got to get into Fable, which was supposed to come out this year, was pushed out until next year. I believe there's going to be a developer direct in January for that game, giving us a release date maybe in February. Again, just me spitballing. So you have those 4. Now, if State of Decay 3, we heard, this is rumors, folks, that they really wanted to release it this year, but that also apparently got pushed into next year. Awesome. Let them cook.
Yep.
Right? And then you got to add to the conversation, whether you want to or you don't, Black Ops 7 is going to be a big game next year. That is a total of 7 games releasing from first party next year. And that does not include any of the smaller stuff. That does not include things that are being developed right now that we don't know that they're working on. That does not include updates to things like Fallout 76 and Sea of Thieves and ESO and all of their gas games.
And that EA does not include too.
Yes, that's right. Third party, second party.
After 60 days, 6 months, and then it goes in the Game Pass. The Game Pass, it doesn't count those either. Games that people have been wanting to play, like the Dragon game
Age.
And all that other stuff. That doesn't include none of those games. So your lineup is full. If you got a game that I'm just not trying to remember, but if you got a game that you always wanted to play, and then you see it's an Xbox, you get to play it. Yeah. It's awesome. You can't lose.
It is. Again, it's as an Xbox gamer, folks, you win. You absolutely win. So you know what? Before we get into the last topic, and this is going to be about the handheld, folks. So if you're excited about the handheld, like I am, you're going to want to hang around. We have Do UK Now. The Broke Boy Insight says, "Boom! Didn't think you said my $5 super chat? Power out maybe." Did I miss it? Let me see. I have the $2 one about Konami and Silent Hill, but I don't have anything else. I did read your original one about the arcade one, though.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
on
go
phone.
check.
I can only back up so far.
Yeah, no, I'll go into YouTube and I'll find it. Once I finish reading the other ones. We have here Day Reezy. Hey, Day, brother, I didn't get a chance to welcome you in. Thanks so much for joining us as always. Thank you so much for the very generous $2 super chat. He says that was the shortest Double Sir X Gaming podcast. Yeah, I know.
Oh wow, guys, come on, y'all keep wanting me to make a podcast. Leave it alone.
We do have here a super chat that I'm not going to read. I'm actually going to return it. It is a bit insulting, so we will not be reading that one. And Do UK Now, the Broke Boy Insider drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, "We aren't old, Sir X-Man. We are experienced. Indeed, we are." But ladies and gentlemen,
I like that one.
Of course, listen, old. I'm old. I don't care. Listen, I'm
Me and
seasoned.
Broke Boy have fun
Whatever you
all the
want to
time,
call it.
man.
We are who we are, and I'm happy to have the knowledge that I have. But folks, I want to get into shout out to JMac in the chat. It says shout out to Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. BoomStick, and panel. Salute, gentlemen. Hashtag Graybeards are in the building. Indeed, we are. But look. I think one of the biggest announcements at the showcase, so X-Man, was in fact this handheld. Now, it is not the official Xbox handheld built by Microsoft. It is a partnered handheld built from the ground up by Asus and Xbox. Xbox, you heard Phil Spencer say that they had a lot of, they were a big part of the design of this, and it was a collaboration. And this thing is coming out by the end of the year. We don't have a release date. We don't have a price. Now, more specifically, one of the things that I took away from this is not having the price. You kind of wonder if it's troublesome. Now, I say troublesome. Is it going to be $800? Is it going to be $900? I don't know. But I am going to say that Kay Asante brought up a pretty good point last night where both companies could do some back-ended things to, in fact, lower the price. Now, I don't know if that is going to happen. I'm not actually sure, but it would be really good if they did. Now, again, the ROG Ally X, which was, of course, the sequel to the original, is pretty expensive. But it is also a big step in power. It is a big step in battery life, and it is better overall. Whatever this is going to be, whatever the price is going to be on this thing, it is going to be well worth every dollar, whether that be $700, $800, or $900, at least in my opinion. Now, could it be priced out for some? It absolutely can be priced out for some. But what I really want to focus on is some of the negativity from both social media and some of even the game journalists out there. I know that I didn't watch it. I have not watched it, but I know that that Digital Foundry really kind of dumped on this, basically saying, who is this for? Who is this handheld for?
Did you expect anything less from them, Boom? Really serious.
I do not. So when I heard about it, I'm not surprised by it, but it's a bit disappointing because this thing is a leap in technology. It is going to play your Xbox games. You can play your games via the cloud. You can play your games via Xbox Game Pass. You'll be able to download games. You'll be able to download your games directly onto this thing. You'll be able to play games from your Steam library, games from your Epic Game Store library, games from your Good Old Games library. But I think one of the most important things, and whether this trigger, I saw a lot of people who were very triggered by this, which is just odd. Something like that odd energy that I don't understand, is you're going to be able to play pretty much every PlayStation 5 game that has come to PC. And I think we start getting into the realm of conversation where, do I need a PlayStation or even a PlayStation 6 if the next Xbox is going to be this and just under the TV? The answer is no. But I honestly got to say this, folks. If you are someone who like some of the PlayStation games but don't own a PlayStation, this is definitely a console for you because you will be able to play every one of their games that have launched on PC. And you know what? You'll probably be able to get them super cheap on Steam, which is awesome. So again, some of the real wild reactions. And of course, you know, there's going to be somebody that says, you know, Boom, I can't play my game from 2006 because it's not on PC. Look, they're working on getting every own game that you have in your library from the OG Xbox to present to be able to play on this thing. They're working on that right now. When does that release? Well, I couldn't tell you. But what they have released so far, the information that we have, Sir X-Men, has me crazy excited for this thing. I want to get your thoughts on this. Is this a day one buy for you? And what are your thoughts on people trying to downplay how this has literally changed the industry?
Did you see the new meme out there?
No.
PlayStation it's PlayStation should join with Nintendo.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. For people that talk bad about this system, but you want to join with somebody else to make a system that Xbox is making right now, technically that's a compliment to the Raw Guy Xbox. That's a compliment. That means you want something like this. But you're not gonna get it because Nintendo and PlayStation, believe it or not, are mortal rivals. In the thick of things, they're mortal rivals. That's never gonna happen. But yeah, I'm excited for this system, dude. I mean, if I got the money at the time, I will order it. And I don't think it'll be that much because remember, software, Microsoft's giving them software for this. So that's not going to be in the cost parameters and stuff like that.
Yep.
And they're using a new chip, the number 2 version of that chip, or the AMD chip. So that's only proprietary to this console. So it can be able to do all the things that Microsoft wants it to do. So I'm sure there's going to be some subsidies in there to help them make it a little bit more affordable than everything else out there in the market because they want to sell these things.
Yes.
You know, they want to sell it. And if you want to sell it, you got to make it more affordable. I know what they did with the Xbox thing. That had nothing to do with this handheld. But they understand that most of the people that are going to buy this are in the U.S. And the U.S. market is kind of funny financially. But you want to be able to sell to a lot of your hardcore people or people that use the streaming stick on the phone. Even people that get high-end PCs, they're probably going to love this. The battery life is 80 kilowatts. That's a lot of battery life. I think that is the most ever that's going to be on a handheld. So that's a long time of gaming. So I don't think we're going to see the price that everybody going to think we're going to see. You know, it might be $600 or $700, but I don't see no 8 or 9. Like 6 for the low level and $700 to $750 for the higher level. I'm getting the black one. I want the top one.
Yeah, I want the X.
So,
yeah, me as well.
So it's like, don't speculate on the price. Wait till the price is announced. Don't get all panties in a bunch. And I'm gonna pull a Sony. If you want it, put some money aside to pay for it. Sorry, but it is the truth. You're gonna put some money aside to pay for it and be like, all right, I got the money aside. The paycheck's coming. I'm gonna have the full amount. I'm going to get it right now. And since you already subscribed to Game Pass, you ain't got to buy no games for it because your games are already there. If you're already subscribed to Steam, you ain't got to buy it. Your games are already there. If you're in the Epic Store and you got games, you ain't got to buy no games. You just download it to your system and continue on with your save points. You know, your save spots. So it's like, it's a win-win, dude. It's like getting a handheld computer with your library. No jerry-rigging it like you have to do with the Steam thing, you know, with the Steam Deck or nothing. No, nothing. It's fully enclosed in one ecosystem. Yeah. And Steam wouldn't have liked that, wouldn't have let them do it if they couldn't make it work with their games. So, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, dude. And that's all I got to say. And like I always say, enjoy your games no matter where you play it. If you want this thing, go ahead and get it. If you don't get it. It's your choice as a buyer and a customer where you spend your money. That's the most important part about gaming. Now, back in the day, I hate to do it again. Back in the day, we wanted an expensive game. But we like, I can wait till it go to the bargain bin at Toys R Us. You know what I'm saying, bro? So it's like, just be conscious of what you spend. And I'm sorry, I mean, in these day and age, I mean, look at the reviews of it when it comes out if you want to decide to get one later.
Yeah, well,
Me, I'm going to get one day one. Yeah, I'm going to get one day one, just like Boom, because that's my thing, if I got the money for it. But this is the time where you need to be a choosy gamer. That's why our backlogs are so big. We see. All right, I want to get it. I ain't played that game in 8 months and I bought it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So spend your money wisely, people. But I want this. And if you want it, when you get it, go enjoy it. Go have fun with it. Show it off to people like, just make sure you always got your back turned when you're in a cafe walking out. Always. Because there are some people that's going to know the price of that and try to get you, right, Boom?
Yeah, wow. I mean, listen,
it's true. But enjoy your games, man. That's all I ever say, man. It doesn't matter where you play. But this thing is going to be hot. I can't wait to put it in my hands. The way they fix the grips on them, where they say the thing is heavy, but it doesn't feel heavy. Because they made the grips and the way it feels in your hands perfect. That's what I hear from everybody out there. Linus Tech Tips and a few others out there. I mean, I can't wait.
Yeah, well, again, we don't know when, but we know that Silk Song is releasing the day that releases. That they actually said that. So I mean,
I don't even know what that game is, but.
That game is awesome. That's by Team Cherry. Been waiting for the sequel for quite a bit, for many years. The first one is great. It's just brutal. But ladies and gentlemen, we catch up on Super Chats and get everyone out of here. Apologies once again for all of the technical issues that we had today. Not the greatest of days for Double Barrel Gaming, and it's more specifically Xvlog Live, but you roll with the punches, and what I'm going to wind up doing is probably cutting this down into at least 2 videos where I can, cut out some of the, clip it in a way where it will run like a regular podcast without any of the interruptions. But
you're gonna cut out my part in the middle?
No, that I will not cut out, brother. No, you're good. But definitely appreciate you stepping up while I had to reboot my PC.
I've done it before, Boom, for people.
Yes.
I
totally get it. But look. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, kindly hit the like button on your way out the door. If you're not already subscribed, to help us. Now we're trucking, folks. We're now moving on to the next big number. That is 17K. We're at 16K and some change. And thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. And we wouldn't be here without you fine folks. So if you are already subbed, thank you. If you're not already subbed, please consider it. And if you're feeling super extra generous today, share it out on the socials, so we can get more people to check out this show along with the other 4 syndicated shows per week. That's right. I do 5 live streams per week, but let me just catch up on Super Chats and we will get everyone on out of here. We have here Sloth in the chat. Sloth, thanks so much for being here as you always are. And thank you so much for the very generous $5 Super Chat. Sloth goes on to say, just a reminder, if you have Xbox, add games to your wish list for a chance to buy them at a discounted price. Xbox Life is good. Yeah, I do that all the time, and I always get messages like, hey, the game you wanted is on sale. We also have
this one. Why, Xbox? Why you got it on sale now? I just bought this one. Right.
There you go. And again, I always pronounce this name wrong. I don't know if the H is silent, and it's Julia, who's been a channel member for 45 months. That is incredible generosity.
Christ.
For a long, and that's years. So thank you so much for the outstanding support. He says that he just got his Switch 2 today, playing Mario Kart World. Yes, I've been playing it like a fiend. As a matter of fact, if I may make a suggestion, scroll down and try out the endurance mode. The endurance mode is like 8 races wrapped up into one, and it basically is you're racing through all of the boards, or at least a lot of the map, and it's a last man standing kind of a thing. As you cross the finish line, as the number starts to shrink, the people that are in the back get eliminated. I did that. I think it was like a 40-minute race. It was awesome, and I did win. I'm literally, I want to say, 2 races from finishing the 50cc. I got first in all of them, and now I'm, of course, going to move on to the 100cc. It is an incredible game. Your mileage might vary based on whether you believe it's $80. I didn't pay $80, which I'm glad. I did get it as a bundle, part of the bundle. I'm happy about that. But wow, Scott, you are out of control today. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Gamer Dude not only has gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships before, he has gifted an additional 10 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. Scott, that is incredibly generous of you. A big thank you to all of the super chats, all of the channel member chats, as well as the gifted subs. Now, folks, if you did get gifted a sub, please thank this man in the chat. That's a lot. That is a total of 15. Of course, our generous brother from Hawaii, Nino Vestic, has gifted 1, as he always does. And a big thank you to all of the super chats that come in, because, again, they do help more than you know. Oh, and you know what? Speaking of which, before we get on out of here, I was talking to Sir X-Men. The first big contest is happening next month. That's right. We're Mrs. Boom. She does this. She gets, she puts on the brainstorming, and we are doing a Christmas in July. That's right, folks. We are doing a $300 plus giveaway, and part of that prize is going to be one of 10 special edition knapsacks that we got from the Fan Fest community event, and they're each going to include the tags that we wore, which I have right here, as well as the special coin that came with it. And we are going to be adding at least 2 more coins per bag. So each bag is going to have 3 coins designed by Ben Kenobi, and we will be giving a digital Xbox gift card in each one of the 10 bags for the total of 10 winners. So that's something that we're going to do. We'll talk about it more as we get closer to July, but it is going to be our annual Christmas in July giveaway, and it's going to be valued upwards of $300 in total plus. And again, the bags, the tags, and the coins are all part of what happened last Sunday with the community event, and that's all courtesy of Ben Kenobi, Hargeet Chani. So many people were part of this thing that made this thing go, and we'll, of course, as we get closer, we'll be thanking them individually. But yes, our first big contest is coming next month, Christmas in July. It is our annual Christmas in July giveaway. And I want to thank everybody for doing that. And my God, we have more gifted subs. This is crazy, folks. You're going to get me emotional here. Do UK Now, the Broke Boy Insider, has gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. I mean, Will, that is incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. And not to
they're
be
trying to help you get your rogue ally, man.
Listen, it's funny because a lot of the super chats did help us help me get out to LA, because originally it wasn't planned, and at the last minute I had to do it. And someone that we had a chance to have dinner with, BT Maverick 707, who drove 6 hours to get to hang out with us, and he was hanging out with us at dinner, and through, of course, he was one of the invitees, if you will, at the Community Xbox Fan Fest event. BT Maverick 707 has gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships as well. Gentlemen, that is incredibly generous of you. That is a total, ladies and gentlemen, of 26 subs today. That's just insane. So, folks, if you did get one of the gifted subs, please thank these incredible members of the community, because it's money, right? And money's tight for everyone. And the fact that they took the time took the money out of their pockets to gift us here and to make new channel members is incredibly kind. Mrs. Boom and I are just so thankful for it. But Sir X-Men, let's sell your brand, brother. Where can people subscribe, and what else you got going on? Where can people tune in to check you out on other podcasts?
sometimes I show up with Wasted with Wise on Fridays at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Central Time. I'm in the Central Time Zone, people. I'm not in the East. Saturday is Dragon's Den with Lemon, or you know him as 108 Dragon.
Yes.
At 5 o'clock Central Time. Sunday I do a weird thing. Me and my buddy Wicked, he a podcaster with me and Noof, and we bowl on Sundays on Twitch, Sir X-Man 1, and we about noon or 11 o'clock, whichever your preference time. So come and catch us over there, just having fun, talking crap with each other and trying to beat each other in bowling. And then on Tuesday, I'm in there with Gaming After Dark with Noof Nukem and the gang at about 8:30 Central Time on Tuesday. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and I was here with BoomStick today, one of his longest friends to his show.
That's right.
But
I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you stepping up in a big way to, of course, while my power was cut, thanks to the work.
I always got your back, dude. I always have.
I definitely appreciate that. Chad, I just want to say a big thank you for your understanding. We had over 500 people watching live. That is great. Again, normally we don't have technical issues, but today was just one of those days. It was just an oddity of kind of a day, but it was great to hang out with you. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation, because I certainly enjoyed putting this show together, and I'm looking forward to finding out what we're going to talk about tomorrow morning on Breakfast with Boom. And of course, that is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I'm going to take the weekend off. Mrs. Boom and I are going to just chill, catch up with ourselves, because I'm still feeling a bit out of sorts. I still feel a little jet lag, which is crazy. And I normally don't stay this jet lag, but this was a bit of a rough trip. You know, to do a total of almost 12 hours in the air in 3 days is a lot. I haven't flown that close in a long time. But again, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. A big thank you to all of the generosity from this incredible community. And one other thing before we get on out of here, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.